Hello, I'm Dr. Julie Gilchrist with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a federal agency charged with protecting the health and safety of people in the United States. A concussion is a brain injury caused by a blow or bump on the head or an unusually forceful head movement. Concussions occurring in high school sports are a serious, often overlooked public health issue, and they can happen in any high school sport. Many concussions, especially those that don't seem serious at the time, go undiagnosed and untreated. But any concussion can lead to serious long-term consequences. In the video you're about to watch, you'll see the effects concussions have had on the lives of one high school football player, Brandon Schultz, and other high school athletes.
On the field, a new football champion will be determined in this Sunday's Super Bowl. Off the field, new research is focusing on a major health issue in football and other sports. Lee Hochberg of Oregon Public Broadcasting reports.
It's hard to imagine Brandon Schultz was once a fine high school athlete in Washington State.
That's actually the best I've done in a long time.
Go. Come on. Speed this time, Brandon. Speed.
6 years ago, Schultz, a high school sophomore with an A- grade average, suffered a concussion, a trauma-induced alteration in his mental status, while playing in a football game. He doesn't remember it, but his mother does.
He got on the bus, came home, we pick him up at school and bring him home, and he's complaining of a headache. You know, he said, I took a hit, got a headache.
The headache persisted the next day and the next. He skipped football practice, but nobody told his family to take him to a doctor.
Pretty much, you know, take a Tylenol, we'll see how you're doing, you know. That's really all we knew. I can't say
Her son wanted to play football. As days passed, he wrote his father that his head had ached for 6 days, but he needed only a few games to qualify for his varsity letter.
Getting my varsity letter my sophomore year, that was my ultimate goal. You know, I just had to get it.
Doctors say concussion victims with ongoing symptoms should avoid sports while symptoms are present and for a week after. But Schultz pulled on his number 61 and played his next junior varsity game. His brain, not yet healed, was vulnerable to this second impact, captured by his parents on videotape.
Good.
The impact wasn't violent, but something clearly was wrong.
Good.
I looked back down in the end zone and Brandon is laying flat on the field. He wasn't responding to anybody saying anything to him. He was just laying there.
Schultz was a victim of rare and often fatal second impact syndrome. His brain was hemorrhaging. He went into a coma for 4 days and underwent 4 brain surgeries. Doctors say he tried to return from concussion too soon.
Dang it!
6 years of rehabilitation leave him today partially blind, physically disabled, and unable to think quickly.
I'm not Brandon Schultz anymore. You know, now I'm Brandon Schultz. The same guy, but different. And it's very, very difficult at times.
It's a dramatic case of not treating a concussion seriously enough. But new research suggests there are other reasons. Concussions demand more attention than they've previously received.
I think what used to happen in sports is people got their bell rung, or they got dinged, and that was part of the game.
Dr. Stan Herring was Schultz's physician and his team doctor for the National Football League's Seattle Seahawks.
What we know now is that when you get your bell rung or get dinged, that there are consequences.
Herring says there are more than 300,000 sports-related brain injuries a year, mostly concussions, and it now appears their impact can be lasting.
It's clear that if you have a concussion, the chance of getting another one is higher. 2 times, 4 times, maybe some even as much as 6 times higher. That's clear. If you have a concussion, the chance of having other episodes is higher.
That's important because a new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association found college athletes who sustained repeat concussions performed poorly on tests of memory and concentration, information processing and coordination, especially those who already had learning disabilities.
They may find school a bit harder. They may find their memory is not quite as good.
3rd down and 9. Young throws, and that's incomplete at the feet of Phillips. And down.
The ramifications of the new studies are profound for professional athletes like quarterback Steve Young of the San Francisco 49ers.
It looks almost as if he's out cold.
Young has been slammed to the turf dozens of times in his pro career and is currently recovering from a concussion. His agent is Lee Steinberg.
Steve Young told me once that he'd had 7 official concussions. And I said, well, what's an official concussion? He said, well, that's where they cart you off the field. But they have dozens of mini concussions where the mental state is not quite there and there's a lot of haziness.
Steinberg says he's advised Young to retire, but Young hasn't. He says he's also told another client, Dallas Cowboy quarterback Troy Aikman, who's incurred 9 concussions, to be smart and preserve his long-term health. Aikman, though, has returned to play.
I'm not considering walking away from the game. I still feel like I've got years left in me.
Steinberg worries about the influence his clients have on young athletes.
There are millions of young kids out there watching this and taking as their model the athlete who plays with 9 concussions, who goes back into a game after he's had a concussion. And I'm scared that we're going to have a group of high school athletes, collegiate athletes, and professional athletes who end up having real impairment.
Although his team was eliminated, great job. Oh, look at that solid screen.
What a screen.
2 down.
And look who's down, too.
Oh, boy.
Indeed, the culture of downplaying or glorifying concussion is widespread throughout sports.
Look, he's out.
He is out, Billy. He is out cold.
That was chin to chin. You're going to see a crash. Oh!
And I'll tell you what,
University of Oklahoma basketball star Eduardo Nájera suffered a concussion in this violent on-court collision in last year's NCAA basketball tournament. He lay motionless for 90 seconds, eyes closed, before being helped off the court 6 minutes later.
Your game shortly. Look who's jogging back out. This is shades of David.
But 14 minutes after the collision, he returned to the gym.
And he's going right to check in.
I've got
He's heading right in.
How tough are these 2 kids?
Nájera re-entered the game seconds later. Even as the CBS announcers questioned the decision, they applauded his courage.
I don't think Nájera should be back in the game. I really don't. He's running with what looks like, oh, he's such a solid screen.
The first thing he does is he goes right back and leaves.
Wow, you talk about some guts now. You know, this is unbelievable.
The moment makes doctors like Herring shudder.
It is not heroic to return to play before concussion has cleared. It's foolish. We need to educate people so they understand that.
Can you bring your wrist that way? There you go.
What all agree on is a need for more awareness of concussion seriousness. As part of a legal settlement, Brandon Schultz's school district set up a trust to pay the $12 million his care will cost for the rest of his life, and to send his mother on a speaking tour to publicize the risk of second impact syndrome. She's urging schools to send coaches to seminars about concussion and to issue handouts on concussion to parents, including a warning to take young athletes to the doctor if they incur one.
Hello, I'm Brandon Schultz. I was 16 years old when I was injured. Before I was injured, I imagined that at 26, the age I am now, I would be a college graduate and living on my own. But my life is very different today. I'm finally in college, but each day is a challenge for me. I use aids to help me with simple everyday activities, things most people do without thinking, such as getting to class on time. And I currently don't drive a car because I have vision problems. My injury didn't end my life, but it changed the choices I have today. I wish now that my school, family, and I could have had more information about concussions and some guidelines about when to return to play. With proper precautions, many concussions can be prevented and permanent injuries can be minimized.
There are things you can do to prevent a concussion. Make sure that you use the right equipment for your sport and use it consistently. The equipment should fit and be in good condition. Learn safe playing techniques from your coach and practice them, and follow the rules of your sport. Be sure to tell someone, your coach or your parents, if you think you have a concussion. Don't hide it. Report it. Take the time to recover. It's better to miss one game than the whole season.